Your mind is the most powerful weapon you'll ever possess. Right now, as you hear these words, you're holding the key to winning every battle you'll ever face. This isn't about physical strength or aggression. It's about something far more powerful. Think about water for a moment. It doesn't fight with the rocks in its path. It doesn't struggle or strain. Yet over time, water shapes mountains, creates valleys, and carves its way through the hardest stone. That's the kind of power I'm talking about today. Most people believe winning requires force. They think success demands conflict, struggle, and exhaustion. They couldn't be more wrong. The greatest victories in history were often won long before any visible action took place. They were won in the quiet moments of preparation, in the silent hours of strategic thinking, in the peaceful development of unshakable conviction. I remember a businessman I met in Chicago back in 1992. He was competing against a corporation 20 times his size. Everyone said he didn't stand a chance, but he understood something crucial. He knew that true victory begins in. Instead of trying to match his competitors' resources, he spent 6 months studying their patterns, understanding their weaknesses, and preparing his strategy. When he finally made his move, it seemed effortless. Within a year, his company had captured 40% of the market share, and his competitor never saw it. That's what winning without lifting a finger really means. It's about being so prepared, so strategic, and so clear in your thinking that physical effort becomes minimal. The battle is won before it's even fought. Let me tell you about the first key, clarity of purpose. Your mind must be like a laser beam, focused entirely on your objective. When you're absolutely clear about what you want, half the battle is already won. Clarity eliminates distractions. It removes doubt. It creates a path where none existed before. Take a moment right now and think about your biggest challenge. Maybe it's in your business, your career, or your personal life. Now, instead of thinking about how hard it will be, focus entirely on the outcome you want. See it with perfect clarity. Feel the certainty of its achievement. This isn't daydreaming, this is programming your mind for success. I once knew a woman who wanted to start her own bakery. But instead of just wishing, she got crystal clear about every detail. She knew exactly what her shop would look like, what recipes she'd serve, even the smile she'd give each customer. She spent months sharpening this vision while working from her home kitchen. She finally opened her doors in 1994. It felt like the bakery had existed for years in everything but physical form. Today, she owns a chain of successful bakeries across 3 states. That's the power of clarity. Most people live in a fog of vague intentions. They say things like, I want to be successful, or I want things to get better. But that's like trying to drive cross-country without a map or destination. Clarity cuts through this fog like a lighthouse beam. It tells you exactly where you're going and shows you the way there. The second key is unwavering faith, not blind faith, but faith built on understanding and preparation. When you've done your homework, when you've prepared thoroughly, faith becomes natural. It's like a pilot who's checked every instrument, reviewed every weather report, and planned every detail of the flight. Their confidence isn't arrogance. It's the natural result of thorough preparation. In 1995, I met a young athlete who was preparing for the Olympics. She wasn't the strongest or the fastest in her sport. But every day, for hours, she would mentally rehearse her performance. She visualized every move, every breath, every moment of her. When the competition came, she performed flawlessly. Her competitors were physically preparing while she was winning the battle in her mind. This kind of faith isn't about positive thinking alone. It's about creating such a solid foundation of preparation and understanding that doubt simply has no room to exist. Think about a master chess player. They have faith in their ability to win, not because they're hoping for the best, but because they've studied thousands of games, understood countless patterns, and prepared for every possible move. The same principle applies to your life. When you combine clarity of purpose with thorough preparation, faith becomes as natural as breathing. You don't hope you'll succeed. You know you will, because you've already succeeded in your mind countless times. The third key is strategic patience. Nature teaches us this lesson constantly. A farmer doesn't pull on crops to make them grow faster. An oak tree doesn't rush to reach its full height. There's a natural timing to everything, and understanding this timing is crucial to effortless victory. I remember a real estate investor who watched a prime piece of property for 3 years. While others rushed to make offers and negotiate, he waited. He studied the market, understood the owner's situation, and patiently built relationships with key decision makers. When the perfect moment came, he acquired the property at half the price others had offered simply because he understood the power of timing. Strategic patience isn't passive waiting. It's active preparation combined with perfect timing. Think about a master martial artist. They don't rush to attack. They don't waste energy with needless movements. They wait for the perfect moment. And when it comes, their victory appears effortless. Your success follows the same principle. Every goal has its season, its natural rhythm. Fighting against this rhythm only wastes energy. Working with it multiplies your effectiveness. This is why some people seem to achieve great things with minimal effort. They understand timing. These three keys, clarity, faith, and strategic patience, work together like the combination of a vault. Miss any one of them, and success remains locked away. But when you align all three, even the most challenging goals become achievable with seemingly minimal effort. Start practicing these keys today. Be absolutely clear about what you want. Build unshakable faith through thorough preparation. Develop the strategic patience to act at the perfect moment. When you master these three keys, you'll find yourself winning battles without ever having to fight them. The silent power of preparation. Every major achievement in your life will be preceded by hours of unnoticed preparation. This is where real victories are created. In the quiet moments when nobody's watching, when you're alone with your thoughts, planning, strategizing, and strengthening your resolve. I knew a negotiator who never lost a deal. His secret, before every negotiation, he would spend hours understanding the other party's position. He would think through every possible scenario, prepare for every potential objection. By the time he entered the negotiation room, the outcome was practically decided, not through force, but through thorough preparation and understanding. Mental rehearsal is like carving a path through fresh snow. The first time is the hardest, but each time you travel that path in your mind, it becomes clearer, more defined, more real. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. It creates the same neural pathways, builds the same mental muscles, develops the same confidence. Think of an orchestra conductor. Before they ever step onto the podium, they've studied every note of the score. They've heard the music in their mind countless times. They've imagined every crescendo, every pause, every subtle change in tempo. When they finally conduct the orchestra, they're not creating something new. They're bringing to life something that already exists perfectly in their mind. Building internal strength happens in these quiet moments of preparation. It's like depositing money in a bank account. Each time you mentally rehearse success, each time you think through a challenge and solve it in your mind, you're making a deposit in your confidence account. When the time comes to face the real challenge, you can draw on these deposits. I once spoke with a surgeon who told me something fascinating. He said that before any major operation, he performs the entire procedure in his mind, step by step. He visualizes every incision, every movement, every potential complication and its solution. By the time he steps into the operating room, he's already completed the surgery successfully multiple times in his mind. This is the same principle that makes military special forces so effective. They don't just train physically. They mentally rehearse every aspect of their missions. They visualize success. They anticipate challenges. They prepare responses to every possible scenario. When the actual mission comes, they're not doing something new. They're executing a plan they've already completed successfully in their minds. The art of anticipation is perhaps the most powerful aspect of preparation. It's about developing the ability to see around corners, to sense what's coming before it arrives. This isn't mystical, it's practical. When you've prepared thoroughly, when you've thought through scenarios deeply, you develop an almost intuitive sense of what's likely to happen next. A grandmaster in chess, they see moves before they happen. They understand patterns before they fully develop. This isn't magic. It's the result of thousands of hours of study and preparation. They've seen similar situations so many times in their minds that they recognize the subtle signs that others miss. You can develop the same level of anticipation in your field. Start by asking yourself, what's likely to happen next? What could go wrong? What opportunities might arise? Then prepare for each possibility. Create mental action plans. Build response strategies. When you do this consistently, you'll find yourself becoming more proactive and less reactive. Remember, the most powerful preparation happens in silence. It happens in those moments when you're alone with your thoughts, playing out scenarios, strengthening your resolve, building your strategic understanding. This is where battles are truly won. In the quiet hours before anyone else knows there's even going to be a battle. Your mind is like a garden. These quiet moments of preparation are when you plant the seeds of future victory. Every minute you spend in mental rehearsal, in building internal strength, in developing your ability to anticipate. These are the minutes that will determine your success. Understanding your opponents, whether they're competitors, challenges, or circumstances, is crucial. But here's the key: don't focus on their strengths. Focus on understanding their patterns, their habits, their natural rhythms. When you understand these, you can achieve your goals without direct confrontation. I met a small business owner in Phoenix who faced a powerful competitor moving into his market. Instead of panicking, he spent weeks studying their business patterns. He noticed they always opened new locations on major streets, invested heavily in grand openings, but often neglected the quieter, residential areas. Using this insight, he strengthened his presence in neighborhood locations, built strong community relationships, and actually grew his business while his larger competitor struggled to gain ground. Reading situations accurately is an art that anyone can master. It starts with observation, pure, simple, patient observation. Watch without judgment. Listen without immediately planning your response. See things as they are, not as you fear they might be or wish they were. How a skilled stock market investor operates. They don't make decisions based on emotions or headlines. They study patterns. They observe market behaviors. They notice how certain events trigger predictable reactions. When others panic, they stay calm because they understand the patterns they're seeing. In my years of speaking with successful people, I've noticed they all share this ability to read situations correctly. They don't rush to conclusions. They don't make assumptions. They gather information. They notice details others miss. They see opportunities where others see only threats. Consider the story of a car salesman I met in 1993. While his colleagues immediately launched into sales pitches, he would first watch how customers moved around the showroom. Did they linger over price tags? Did they sit in the cars? Did they bring family members? By understanding these patterns, he knew exactly how to approach each customer. His sales numbers were triple those of his closest competitor. Recognizing patterns is like learning to read music. At first, you see individual notes, but with practice, you start seeing phrases, harmonies, and complete musical ideas. The same principle applies to understanding any situation or opponent. A pattern might be as simple as noticing that a certain type of client always asks the same questions, or that a competitor always launches new products at specific times. Once you recognize these patterns, you can position yourself advantageously without any confrontation. I remember talking with a courtroom lawyer who won cases not through aggressive arguments, but through careful observation. She noticed that certain judges had specific concerns they always wanted addressed. By recognizing these patterns and addressing these concerns preemptively, she won cases before the opposition even presented their arguments. Using wisdom over force is the crown jewel of understanding. Think about water again. Water doesn't fight with a boulder in its path. It doesn't try to move the boulder through force. It finds the natural spaces around it. Over time, it might even carve through it, but never through direct confrontation. This principle applies to every challenge you face. When you truly understand a situation or an opponent, you'll often find that force isn't necessary. The right action at the right time is far more effective than brute strength at the wrong moment. The perfect example is a negotiator. I knew who never raised his voice, never pounded the table, never tried to overpower others. Instead, he understood what each party truly needed, not just what they said they wanted. By understanding these deeper patterns, he could create solutions that seemed to materialize naturally, without conflict. Remember, true understanding eliminates the need for force. When you read situations accurately, recognize patterns clearly, and apply wisdom consistently, you'll find that most battles can be won without ever fighting them. The path of least resistance is not the path of laziness. It's the path of wisdom. Think about electricity. It always follows the path of least resistance, yet its power is undeniable. Your success should follow the same principle. Don't waste energy fighting unnecessary battles. Instead, position yourself where success becomes natural and inevitable. Consider how nature works. A river doesn't create friction with the earth. It follows the natural slope of the land. Birds don't fight with the wind. They use air currents to soar higher with less effort. These aren't examples of weakness. They're demonstrations of supreme intelligence. I remember watching a master salesperson at work in 1996. While others pushed hard against customer objections, she simply acknowledged them and redirected the conversation naturally. Her sales weren't just higher, they were easier. Her customers left feeling like they'd made their own decisions. She understood that persuasion isn't about force. It's about finding the natural path to yes. Working with natural laws means understanding that everything has its own rhythm, its own way of unfolding. Fighting these natural laws is like swimming upstream. You might make progress, but you'll exhaust yourself needlessly. Working with them is like catching a wave. The same distance is covered with fraction of the effort. Look at successful entrepreneurs. The best of them don't try to create new human needs. They identify existing ones and position themselves in the natural flow of fulfilling those needs. They don't push products onto people. They place solutions in the path of people already looking for them. Timing and opportunity are like catching a train. You don't stand on the tracks and try to stop the train. You don't run alongside trying to match its speed. You simply position yourself at the right place at the right time and step aboard naturally. This is how opportunities work. They're always moving, always flowing. Your job isn't to force them. It's to recognize them and position yourself correctly. I knew a real estate agent who made millions without the aggressive marketing his competitors used. His secret: he understood timing. He knew that certain life events, marriages, promotions, retreated natural. By staying aware and positioning himself properly, he was always in the right place when these opportunities emerged. The power of stillness is perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of effortless success. In our busy world, we're conditioned to believe that constant action equals progress, but often the opposite is true. Stillness allows us to see opportunities that frantic activity would miss. A hunter in the forest. The more they move, the less they see. But in stillness, they become aware of every movement, every opportunity, every sign of their quarry. Your mind works the same way. In stillness, you can sense opportunities that your busy thoughts would otherwise obscure. I once visited a factory owner who spent the first hour of every day sitting quietly in his office, not doing anything. His competitors thought he was lazy, but in that stillness, he could feel the rhythm of his business. He noticed patterns. He sensed problems before they became critical. He saw opportunities others missed. His hour of stillness was more productive than others' days of frantic activity. This principle of stillness applies to every area of life. When facing a challenge, your first instinct might be to take immediate action. But often becoming still first, observing, understanding, allowing the situation to reveal its nature, leads to better solutions with less effort. Consider how a martial arts master operates. They don't meet force with force. They remain still centered, aware. They let their opponent reveal their intentions. They find the natural gaps, the organic opportunities. When they do move, it's with precision and minimal effort. Your challenges will yield to the same approach. Instead of rushing to action, find stillness first. Instead of forcing solutions, look for natural openings. Instead of fighting circumstances, understand them and use their momentum. Remember, the path of least resistance isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about approaching them intelligently. It's about understanding the natural laws at work in your situation and aligning yourself with them rather than fighting against them. In your daily life, start looking for the easy way. Not the lazy way, but the smart way. Where are you using force when wisdom would work better? Where are you fighting when you could be flowing? Where are you straining when you could be strategizing? Creating inevitable success isn't about luck. It's about understanding and applying natural laws. When you align your actions with these laws, success becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Like gravity, these laws work whether you believe in them or not. Your job is to understand them, work with them. Let me tell you about a woman I met in Atlanta who started with nothing but a clear mental picture of what she wanted to achieve. She spent 30 minutes every morning thinking about her goals, not as distant dreams, but as current realities. Within 3 years, her business revenue grew from zero to over $2 million. Her secret, she built unstoppable momentum through consistent, focused thought. Building momentum through thought is like starting a train. The initial effort is significant, but once the train is moving, it becomes almost unstoppable. Your thoughts work the same way. The hardest part is overcoming initial mental inertia. Those doubts, fears, and old thinking patterns that keep you stuck. I once asked a highly successful CEO about his morning routine. He told me something fascinating. Before checking emails or making calls, he spent 20 minutes visualizing his desired outcomes for the day. He wasn't just planning, he was programming his mind for success. By the time I start working, he said, I'm not creating success. I'm just watching it unfold. The compound effect of mental mastery works like interest in a bank account. Each clear thought, each moment of focused visualization, each instance of mental rehearsal adds up. Over time, these small mental investments create massive returns. It's not about occasional bursts of positive thinking. It's about consistent mental discipline. A pilot navigating a plane. A 1-degree error in the flight path might mean nothing in the first mile, but over 1,000 miles, it could put you in a completely different city. Your thoughts work the same way. Small daily adjustments in your thinking, maintained consistently, lead to massive changes in your destination. I remember talking with an Olympic coach in 1997. He said something profound. Champions aren't made in the gym. They're made in the mind long before they step into the gym. He explained how his athletes spent as much time on mental preparation as physical training. They didn't just practice their sport. They practiced success in their minds until it became inevitable. Daily practices for victory don't require hours of meditation or complicated techniques. They're simple habits that, when done consistently, reshape your mental landscape. Start each day with mental preparation. Take time to think through your challenges. See the solutions before you encounter the problems. Feel the certainty of success before you take action. This isn't wishful thinking, it's strategic preparation. One businessman I knew had a simple practice. Before every important phone call, he would take 30 seconds to see the conversation going perfectly in his mind. Before every meeting, he would take a minute to visualize successful outcomes. These small mental practices, repeated daily, created a pattern of consistent success that seemed almost magical to others. Your mind is like a garden. Every thought is a seed. Through daily practice, you choose which seeds to plant and nurture. Water the thoughts of success, pull out the weeds of doubt, and maintain the garden daily. Over time, success becomes as natural as flowers blooming in spring. This isn't about forcing things to happen. It's about creating the conditions where success becomes natural, normal, expected. When you combine clear thinking with daily practice, when you align your mental patterns with your desired outcomes, success becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Remember, every physical battle is first won or lost in the mind. Every external success is first created internally. Every victory is first imagined before it's achieved. Your mind is creating your future right now, in this very moment. The ultimate victory isn't over others. It's over yourself. When you master your thoughts, you master your life. When you control your mind, you control your destiny. Everything external is simply a reflection of what's happening internally. I have seen this truth proven time and time again. Just last year, I met a former street fighter who became a successful mediator. He told me his greatest victory wasn't any of his physical fights. It was the day he realized he could solve conflicts without throwing a single punch. Today, he helps others do the same. That's personal transformation at its finest. Your legacy won't be measured by the battles you fought, but by the victories you've achieved without fighting. Think about the most respected people in your life. Chances are they're not the ones who fought the hardest, but the ones who achieved the most while maintaining their peace of mind. As you leave here today, remember the battles in your life don't need to be fought with force. They can be won with wisdom, preparation, and strategic thinking. Your mind is your greatest ally, your most powerful tool, your ultimate weapon. Start today. Begin now. Take these principles and apply them immediately. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it. Don't fight against circumstances. Understand them and use them to your advantage. Don't exhaust yourself with unnecessary conflict. Prepare so thoroughly that victory becomes inevitable. The power to win every battle without lifting a finger isn't just a possibility. It's your birthright. It's the natural result of using your mind the way it was meant to be used. It's the outcome of thinking strategically, preparing thoroughly, and acting wisely. Your future is being shaped by your thoughts right now. Make them count. Make them powerful. Make them worthy of the success you desire. Because in the end, the greatest victories aren't won through force. They're won through wisdom, preparation, and the power of the mind. The choice is yours. The time is now. The power is within you. Use it wisely. Use it well and watch as your biggest challenges transform into your greatest victories. Remember, just as water shapes continents without violence, your mind can shape reality without conflict. Your thoughts today are creating your victories tomorrow. Choose them carefully, direct them purposefully, and trust in their power to transform your world. The ultimate victory awaits you. Not on some distant battlefield, but in the quiet confidence of your prepared mind. Now go forth and win your battles before they even begin.